a Studio 113 production.
So I was doing this thing the other day where I tell myself all the time, you're on a book buying ban. You can't buy any more books.
Yeah.
And then I look at the shelf and I look at what's on Kindle Unlimited. And I'm like, I want to read something, but it's like when you have a menu of food in front of you for takeout options. And you're like, I want something, but it's not here. And then it's how my TBR shelf will never be empty.
Mood reader.
I am a mood reader.
Okay. Hi, I'm Hannah.
And I'm Courtney.
Join us as we delve into true crime, paranormal encounters, and all things spooky.
Grab your flashlight and get ready to wander into the darkness with us.
This is Wicked Wanderings. All right, let's go. Hi,
go,
Courtney.
girls. Hi, Hannah.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm swell. So talking about book buying, have you ever read The Music? I think I told you about it.
If I saw the cover, I would probably be able to tell you. I'm now looking. Here's the problem. Oh, God, it has a sticker on it. Hannah, you asshole. I went through your whole bookshelf and did that to them all.
I don't know how that got there.
Dick. Okay, anyways. I either have read that or it's on my TBR shelf because the cover looks very familiar.
Okay, well, it's by T. Marie Vandelli. She finally is coming out with another book. I pre-ordered it.
My H.D. Carlton book box is supposed to be coming in sometime this month.
Wow, I almost forgot all about it.
Me too. She had a baby, though. I saw that.
That's why we thought the other book she wrote
That's why Phantom sucked.
Yeah, don't read Phantom, guys.
H.D. Carlton, in the event you're listening to this, I'm very sorry. I'm a huge hype girl. I recommend your other books all the time.
If Hairy Fingers don't do
It's the
anything for you,
trench coat.
yeah.
Hairy Fingers, trench coat, pinky ring. That's
ring,
all I gotta say.
Mm.
If none of those are your vibe, and you don't want to picture Gam Gam getting it on,
Yeah, but if you like Grandpa vibes,
some
more
people
to
do.
you,
The
you
more
know?
the merrier. I mean, some people are grandpa aged.
Exactly.
And I think the idea of like a tattooed man with a Prince Albert piercing probably would freak them out just the same. Leave those for the rest of us.
You know, maybe we should save that for our other podcast to talk about different piercings.
We always talk about Wicked Wanderings After Dark, but I feel like we should produce like bonus episodes that are video episodes of Wicked Wanderings After Dark.
Oh, I'm down. I think we should.
Different content.
You never know what you're going to get, though.
Different strokes for different folks.
I didn't know where you were going with that.
I didn't really know either. Sometimes I start talking and then out comes randomness. And we just hit 100 episodes, which is really exciting.
Woohoo!
In real time, we're recording this the day that we made the social media post. So, you know,
Like and subscribe, everybody, please.
shameless plug. And if you're listening and you're like, but there's only 92 episodes.
91. That was 91.
Well, after they hear this one, it'll be 92. Got to think about that.
See, Courtney's better with math than I am.
After you hear it, you're like, yeah, but there should be 101 episodes. The other 9 episodes are for subscribers only. So if you want to check that out, subscribe, or you can just continue to be missing out. It's up to you. That one's on you.
If you don't have FOMO, then oh well.
I subscribed, and then my debit card failed.
But you know what? I have a new friend, Jake. Actually, Jake that subscribed and then
Shout out Jake.
Shout out to Jake for resubscribing. I finally met him this weekend at a family party. Great guy. Thank you, Jake. Because, you know, you get your card stolen sometimes, and that happens, or it gets hacked. So, Courtney, you have no excuse.
I wish everybody could. Sometimes I forget that on podcasts you can't see the look on my face. I have a very vocal face.
Yeah.
I think people would agree about that. So sometimes Hannah says something and I'm silent because I'm just shooting a look in her direction. I feel like it's like Pictionary in that moment. This feels good. I feel like sometimes we sit down to podcasts and we're like way too serious. Today feels very relaxed. It's fall, y'all, for us.
Oh, it's fall, y'all.
We got the fall vibes going. I'm in a hoodie and in leggings because Hannah keeps her house like the Arctic, which I love. You know, I've got my fall cider donut as my drink of choice today, and we are ready for fall.
We're so ready. I'm so ready.
It's hard.
I've been ready.
I feel like we say that, but when I'm sitting in your house every day, it feels like fall. We got the fall scented candles going. Everything is spooky decor. PSA to anybody who's also a spooky lover, TJ Maxx and Marshalls has their fall and Halloween candles out now.
Code orange, everyone. Code orange.
This is not a drill. I already bought 5.
I mean, I got my Headless Horseman lit up right now.
He's
I got
there all year.
Apple Pumpkin going. I got Macintosh going.
Hannah's a candle blender. I feel like I want people to write in and tell us, like, in my house, I can light one candle at a time, unless it's like one in the kitchen and one in the living room.
But I have very high ceilings, so I feel like it doesn't smell bad, right?
No.
You would tell me if it smelled bad.
Of course I would.
Okay,
I would
all right,
blow out
good.
your candles.
Well, she has done that, folks, actually, one time. Because, like, we were, I don't know, walking down the hallway to go somewhere in the building, and she went, she's like, I'm sorry, that wasn't my candle to blow out. Autism.
I don't know. I feel like I'm one of those people where I don't like to light a candle in the beginning of the day. Because if I'm going to leave the house, I can't light a candle. It's like a social rule.
But I know what you're saying. Like, if I was going out today, I would not have lit them until I got home.
You wait until you're done for the day. And then in the event that you have to go back out, it's like an inconvenience to blow out the candle. Yeah.
Very inconvenient. I agree. Why is that? That's like an unspoken rule. How does that even happen?
I don't know. Some people are just out here wilding out, raw dogging life, lighting their candles and blowing them out a million times. Because doesn't that ruin the candle too, depending on the type of candle it is? Because you want it to get so far out that the wax is like going down evenly. Oh, I hate that when I have to leave unexpectedly.
I always want to scrape, but then I'm afraid to scrape. Because I think they say don't scrape.
Yeah, I don't think you're supposed to. I do the wick trimming now. I never used to do that, but I had... This is TMI, I guess, but not really TMI.
Well, what are we trimming here?
The wick. A lot of appliances in my apartment, because it's older, are the white appliances. And so I started noticing on the white appliances, there was like this like soot. And so I was like, oh man, is there mold or something in here?
Oh, yeah,
and then as I'm cleaning, and so I asked my dad, I was like, Dad, why? And he's like, well, you light candles. And if the wick is like burning hot at the top where it's like black and charred, you'll get that off onto white substances. So now I've been clipping them and it hasn't been happening anymore.
Interesting.
Small spaces and...
Hey, we almost had a fire here, so...
Cousin Mark was part of that. I think that's the best part of the whole story is that I can't tell the story without laughing so hard I almost pee my pants. And then I'm like, oh my God, but Mark was there. Like, I distinctly remember sitting here and I was on FaceTime talking with Mark. And you were in there, and then you were like, oh my God. And all of a sudden there was like this flash of light, and off I had to go. And Mark's like, what's happening? He was just trying to make sure that we were like safe.
So that story actually came up this weekend at the July 4th party.
Oh,
so
God.
Wanderers, we all love Cousin Mark, and his family lives on the eastern side of Massachusetts. So we went there. And, well, obviously, if you know his accent, you know he's in Eastern Mass, but I digress. Anyways, so that conversation, that story actually came up at July 4th, and it was great to hear it all over again because Mark just makes it sound like terrible. I mean, it was terrible.
It felt pretty terrible. It felt pretty terrible.
Story.
I'm not gonna lie.
I kind of want to listen to that episode again just to hear it.
Sometimes I do. Whenever I'm like, I felt particularly chaotic today, I'll go back and listen, and I'm like, but I wasn't light the house on fire while Rob's not home chaotic. And remember how upset I was? I was like, Rob's not gonna let me come over and play anymore. He's gonna be so mad.
Like, it smells like someone left the iron on. And I'm like, no, it's fine. And I'm like, oh my God.
It's funny too, because it reminds me so much of like my mom, who just thought her response to everything was like, it's fine. It's gonna be fine. I like broke my toe at one point, and it was completely like, if your toes are going straight, my toe was pointing to the right. It was off the side of my body. And she was like, no, it's fine. It's fine. So it was one of those responses.
Oh, yeah. Courtney's aided my life, honestly.
I saved the building. Basically,
I'm gonna throw water on it, okay? I was like, sure.
A hero.
It kind of made it worse a little bit, but then it was fine.
Yeah, well, we couldn't have touched the lid, though. That was the problem.
Yes. Yeah, that was...
It was not an ideal situation, and I know it's one of those situations like when you work with kids on the spectrum where you know what the appropriate social thing is, but something in the environment isn't going to allow it to happen. So you're like, shit, don't take what I told you too literally.
Oh my God. Are we ready to like do an episode?
I'm excited to hear what we're going to talk about.
Today's like this can never get better because, you know, you have your best friend, you read a little bit, have some drinks, do a little podcasting.
We just need fall.
We just need fall.
We just need fall.
All right, it's okay. I'll be here soon. I guess we wouldn't appreciate it as much if it was all year round, right?
I don't know. I think I would.
Let's talk about cults.
Okay. It's different. I like it.
Right? So when you think of cults, who or what do you think of?
Charles Manson.
That's a good one. Anybody else or anything else?
I mean, I think of the KKK as a cult.
Yeah, I would say that. That's a pretty nice
And then
one.
I think of organized religion.
Deep.
And then I go down the rabbit hole of like everything is kind of a cult when you think about it.
Oh, God, Court.
Disney is a cult.
Oh.
I'm sorry if anyone's a Disney fan, but I think Disney is a hardcore cult.
I actually met someone this weekend, lovely person. I met her at a 4th of July party, and she was covered in tats, beautifully done, but all of them were of a Disney character.
Hey.
Or something you find at Disney. Like, one of the ones I liked that she had was this woman with an umbrella. She's like, oh, that's the one from the Haunted Mansion. Of course, that's what my eye drew to.
I love the Haunted Mansion. It's my favorite movie.
So, and it's not on Disney.
Of course not, because it's one of the best
It's
ones.
so good. Oh, my God. All right. If you know, you know.
Side note, Starbucks is releasing Haunted Mansion cups.
How did you find that
Britain told me.
out? That's amazing. Would you say that most of the cults are run by men?
Let me think for a second. Okay, I think most of the obvious cults are run by men. I think it's kind of like serial killers, right? When you think about a serial killer, you think about men. You think about the 70s or the 60s.
Ted
You
Bundy.
don't, right? You don't think, well, oh my God. But I feel like with women, there's still some kind of expectation of like they're not manipulative, even though they can be very manipulative.
Oh, God, we can.
Or they're not killers, even though they should definitely be worried about. So I think most of the popular ones are men. I think that would be safe to say.
What if I told you a woman holds one of the highest body counts of all infamous cult leaders?
Body count as in... okay. I would want to know who this lady was.
1,075 lives is what they do know.
So you know it's probably closer to double.
Probably.
Wow. Okay. I'm listening.
Her name, and I'm sorry if I butcher names in this episode, please forgive me. Credonia Mwerinde. Mwerinda. And she is from Uganda.
Okay.
Born in 1952. She was born into, I would say, a pretty wealthy family because they owned a lot of land.
Okay.
So they had pineapple groves, they had sugarcane fields.
Business owners as well, I would imagine.
So she's not a woman without resources growing up. And speculation seems to be that she grew up very religious. And I will probably say this a bunch of times in this episode that there was a lot of civil war in Uganda and those parts of Africa. And when religion was coming in, it was a lot of Catholicism.
Okay.
So apparently she must have gone to Catholic school is what we're speculating.
Oh boy.
And I love this. When she was old enough, she strayed, quote.
So she chose something different than what they agreed with?
Yeah, pretty much.
And or something bad happened to her and
I
she couldn't
guess,
return?
According to them, that she may have become a slut, which I think is totally awful.
She got seen sitting at a cafe with a boy?
Yeah, probably. She fell for a local health officer, but according to Credonia, which that's what I'm going to call her now because her first name is what I can pronounce, he did her dirty, according to her.
Okay.
So, you know what she did?
Oh boy, she killed him.
She broke into his house and set his shit on fire.
I mean, people write songs about that.
Exactly.
Throw the crap on the lawn, light this whole bitch up.
Yeah, I think of Carrie Underwood. Like, she keyed his car.
I love that we just talked about how we almost set your house on fire, and then that's the first thing into the episode. But, we'll just call that a coinky dink.
So the author of the book I read was by Max Cutler, who also has his own podcast. And the book is called Cults, if you're looking into it. Said this is the first instance of her obsession with fire.
So she's a pyro.
A little bit of a pyro. He also mentioned that this is one of the 3 elements of the McDonald triad, which I didn't know there was a name to this, but you probably know it once I tell you.
It's one of those things where we didn't know there was a name for it. Okay.
So it's supposed to be one of the precursors to sociopathy.
Sociopathy. Oh, I've been really into sociopathy lately.
So the fire, cruelty to animals, and do you know the third?
Lack of empathy?
Bedwetting.
Ah, okay. A symptom. Yeah, that makes more sense.
So the family sent her to the mental ward, as all families do, which basically labeled her mentally disturbed, which doesn't help her at all, and sent her on her way. Cool. Didn't do much for her.
Timeline-wise, that also makes sense if you're talking, she was born in, you said 52?
Yes.
So yeah, the asylum and institution was very popular.
And something that the author said, too, that was interesting was like, even if she was in the United States of America at that time,
the same thing would have happened.
Yeah, it wouldn't have helped her.
Probably
at all.
sooner, actually.
Yeah. All right, everyone, I'm going to be quoting. And
here I am quoting.
One can't really confirm what the early life of Credonia was like, but many of the traits that she displayed, especially violence, cloaking itself in the guise of holiness, as well as her lust for wealth achieved by exploitation, were features of normalcy in Uganda when she came of age. Viewed on its own, her behavior stands out for its exceptional ruthlessness. But in a country whose history has been soaked in bloodshed, her cruelty had plenty of precedence. So the reason I wanted to read that was because I obviously thought it was well said that I didn't want to try to reword it. But looking at the whole picture and what Uganda was going on as a whole, and even Africa as a whole, she grew up with a lot of violence in her life. It obviously was a part of society. It was a part of the government. She kind of didn't have a chance.
It's a nature versus nurture.
Exactly.
I feel like we have that conversation about so many of the monsters we talk about on the podcast. Is it nature? Is it nurture? Is it both?
Exactly. So, like I said, she was ambitious, and she learned to brew banana beer, which apparently was like a staple. And people loved it. And she inserted herself into a local bar and began to run it herself and took advantage of the owner. Now, this is also going to be a thing that she does where she just kind of like, she has this what I like to call Delilah effect on men. And if you don't know a lot about just Bible stories, like Delilah was the one that basically seduced Samson, and Samson was supposed to be this man of God and everything. So that's why I don't know if I came up with that or if it's actually a thing. So sorry if I'm stealing someone else's, but that's what it reminded me of. Like just this woman coming in, kind of trying to seduce this man to get what she wants.
She creeps in, manipulates him, and gets what she wants out of it.
So she wanted to use the resources for her own gain and then leave. And that's just kind of like what she does. So 1989 rolls around, and she decides to go to the countryside where a religious movement of Catholicism starts taking place. And what is one thing a church cannot get enough of?
Money.
Money's one.
Followers.
Followers, another. That's good. Visions.
Okay, yeah.
Right? Every good cult has someone that has, quote unquote, visions, right?
Yes, all these ideas.
All these ideas. She had what is called a Marian apparition, which I didn't know this was a thing either. And it's basically that the Virgin Mary appears to her and talks to her. And Courtney's like,
the eye roll I just did, if we could play it back and let you guys hear it, would have sounded like, ugh.
As we know from past dealings, Credonia has a way with men. She meets the man who runs a Catholic school, and she becomes the person behind the scenes, nicknamed the programmer. And as we know, in a lot of societies, usually people will not listen to a woman in power. They listen to the man. So it sounds like he was more like her puppet. Exactly. Over 10 years, she used her visions to build what is called the movement of the restoration of the 10 commandments of God. And that was the name of the cult.
Never heard of it.
The followers worked for almost nothing. Typical in a cult, right? And they gave up all their worldly possessions.
And all their money goes to the cult.
Exactly. They gathered new members and sometimes committed murder to those who were against their leader and movement. And obviously, it wasn't like, great, you're joining. By the way, we do murder people. Like, obviously, this happened. There's a way of talking to people and telling them it's okay. She told them that the Virgin Mary told them it was okay once in a while to commit murder.
It's like organized crime, where by the time you realize what you're doing, you're so far into it that you're already incriminated.
Right. And what does every good religion need to follow?
A book.
A text, right? And while the Bible was useful, they needed more. So if you think of the Bible as one text, their text was basically the sequel.
So it was what came after.
Correct. And they called it a timely message from heaven.
Oh, boy.
And here I am quoting again.
And here she is quoting.
And this is a sample quote from the text. There will be great tribulation upon all the people, such that has never been experienced by any person since the creation of the world. People will be absent-minded and will develop a spirit of independence from God in their deeds, and this spirit will displease the Creator. He will in reaction release to the world chastisements that will include the shedding of blood in many countries. So fire and brimstone.
Yeah.
Is the basis of it.
Yeah.
So, according to this cult, the Virgin and Christ came down to warn again that the end times were coming, and it is up to Credonia and her followers to heed the warning and act. That's a lot of pressure.
It is.
And such things as the cult spread the using of fear, which a lot of cults did, right? Of the fear of the millennia, right? That was a huge thing, even if you weren't in a cult. Like, oh my God, the world's coming to an end.
Which probably came from some kind of cult-like.
Mm-hmm. And the AIDS epidemic.
That's true.
They used the AIDS epidemic as something that, oh, that was a punishment of God. If you want to save your family, come follow us.
So sad.
So sad. Their teachings were of the end times, like Revelation, which is the last book in the Bible. And before the year 2000, chastisements would rain on earth, and then 3 days of darkness. Don't worry, though. The compounds have that covered. And how do you know? Well, because it says they built arks with food and supplies to keep the believers safe. So basically, they had these bunkers made.
Right.
And they filled them with food and...
Compound meaning, like, did the people have to live in one set space? So it was like a separate community.
Right. And there were several around the area. They weren't all together, but there were several.
Okay. Makes sense if you're looking at the sprawled... I mean, obviously, I'm not familiar with geographically Uganda, but I'm assuming that it's easier to spread your message when you have a small community or medium community in many places.
So their days were broken up into sevenths.
Dear God.
4 sevenths was spent in prayer, 2 sevenths was spent in work, and only 1 seventh was rest.
Did they eat?
I think there was some eating in there, but depending on how strong you were, usually your work time was a lot longer than anybody else's.
So if you were...
Able-bodied,
you worked longer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. Individuality was stripped. No more birth names were recognized. Unmarried children were just brothers and sisters, so it didn't matter who you came from. Married men and women were aunts and uncles. And no speech was allowed unless special occasions where it was permitted. So only sign language and writing were used to communicate.
I just can't understand how, like, sometimes with cults you can see, like, okay, I understand why for what they were trying to push. This makes sense. But I guess for what they're trying, like, I'm just trying to think, if you're trying to disseminate anything, part of that is word of mouth, right?
Yeah.
We talk about in ABA, disseminating your field through speech, through the way that you make social media posts. How does your cult gain more following and more community if only the ways that you guys communicate are allowed? Although I'm sure there's a separate, if you're trying to get a new believer, you're allowed to speak.
Right.
Clause, now that I'm thinking about it.
Or like there was only, because they did say there was only specific people that were allowed to talk.
The people who were good at manipulation.
Yeah. So 1993 comes around and the current pope at the time allegedly gave his blessing. So he comes to Uganda and apparently there was either Credonia and one of her bishops or the both of them, but apparently the pope gave his blessing. We're not sure if that actually happened.
Allegedly.
I would hope the pope wouldn't, but this made the people so excited. It's like, oh my God, maybe we are doing God's work.
Right.
Trouble started, though, when the predicted apocalypse didn't arrive. So they predicted that it would come in 1992. Obviously, it didn't happen. 1995, guess what? Didn't happen. And then December 31st, 1999. And 2000 rolls in, and people start to leave. They're like, well, I think this is a load of bullshit.
They were like, you guys are full of shit. I'm out.
And the movement got desperate, and some people were either told that the people they loved that were still in the compounds were dying of illness, so people would come back, or they kidnapped people to come back.
That's so sad.
Yeah. So March came in the year 2000, and they said, oh, the apocalypse has arrived, and they got all the followers to go into these arks, and she had them set on fire. Later, hundreds of bodies were found throughout the camps, whether they were buried in places, whether they were in the burned arks, just random bodies everywhere. And Credonia escaped and was never seen again.
So let me just play this back because maybe there's some listeners who also feel like I do. That just it hit such a ugly head so fast. So she started to lose followers when they didn't believe her word. They were leaving. She was down to few numbers. She kidnapped them, went as far as, not all of them, but kidnapping them or manipulating them to come back.
Right.
Just to turn around and light them all on fire.
Yes.
Wow.
And
it's a scary lady.
I will be honest, there was a lot of political talk in the book that I didn't fully understand. A lot of names and government, and this guy Cutler did a really great job of bringing in the politics of what was happening in Uganda and the Congos. So I think there were some things that I couldn't disseminate really well.
Culturally understand.
Yes,
yeah, makes sense.
I love that he well-rounded it because obviously this didn't just come out of nowhere. Like you said, nurture and nature. Apparently, and this was an eyewitness, that after she lit those arks on fire, that she was seen in the back of a pickup going straight into the jungle. And so we're not sure if she just like basically took all the assets she had and boiled them down to money and then headed into the jungle and was never seen again, or if she was, all right, I'm going to live out my days by myself and maybe a few followers, or maybe the jungle was her end and she was eaten by a tiger. I mean, we don't know, but
for all we know, I mean, there's no proof that she didn't light herself murder-suicide style.
Right. So she was just never seen again. She never answered for her crimes, which is kind of spooky because this was not that long ago.
Yeah, I feel like
she could possibly still be alive.
That's true. Yeah, because you said she was born in 52.
Mm-hmm. I mean, she'd be an old lady, but it's interesting. I just never heard of her before. And to have a woman cult leader like this, like I've heard of Mother God.
Right. Yeah.
That was always an interesting one. And there's a couple other that are like, they're off of like the evangelical faith. But this one, I flabbergasted. But it just sounded like she was the manipulator, right? But she had a lot of men with power and money, and that's how she was able to take control.
So do you think that most, and this is definitely like a personal question, do you feel like most people who end up in the position of cult leader have a power complex or they're after wealth?
I would say power complex and control. Because if you have control...
That's true.
You can probably get money.
I feel like it's like the chicken or the egg. Because so in her position, right, if you think about what little we know about her background, which I'm sure, and I feel like, unfortunately, living in the United States, we only hear about things that are like close to home. Like there's a huge media presence, whether it's books, magazines, news, media, like movies and documentaries and things. We're just now starting to see an era where if it happened outside of the US, it's still important and we still want to like learn about it. A lot of people have this idea that if it didn't happen here to our people, like we don't want to know about it.
Oh, we live in a bubble, for sure.
Right. I'm not shocked that we didn't know anything about it, but I'm just trying to figure out. They said that she had all these signs of sociopathy. Mm-hmm. She spent time in an asylum. So you're questioning sanity, right? Or somebody at some point was questioning sanity. What was her why? Why did she do all of this?
Yeah. And one of the things that Cutler brought up in the book, which I don't necessarily agree with, is he brought up the idea that when people are brought up in strict households like this with strict religion. And I thought about myself, right? So he said, oh, well, you know, once they have a little bit of freedom, they want to experience the world. They want to do everything.
Some people.
Yeah, I wouldn't say everyone because I grew up in a very strict household. Did I do things? Like, yes, not illegal, but like, did I want to experience like how to swear? Fuck yeah, I did. Like, I never swore till college. Like, little things like that. But, like, not everybody's going to go out and, like, I don't know.
No, it's that adrenaline. I don't want to say a junkie, but, like, an adrenaline junkie. Like, someone who gets high on adrenaline. And I think there's a lot of mental health diagnoses. I mean, especially working with children on the spectrum. Some of those kids really love that adrenaline kick. ADHD is a huge one for the adrenaline kick.
Yeah.
I think that plays more of a role into it than necessarily the way you were brought up. I mean, my family wasn't strict religious, but they were strict growing up. And did I, occasionally blur those lines when I had a little bit of freedom? Yes, but I didn't go start a cult and murder people. That feels like a pretty big jump. Especially, and like I keep hearing how you were saying, Uganda at that time was a very violent place. Yeah. It was normalized by that point. Mm-hmm. So doing those things brutally, I'm sure she thought these things are wrong. But I think some people, especially when that religion piece comes into play, they start to really believe if a greater God or if a greater person or higher power is telling me I can do these things, they really believe that that's the truth.
Right. And seeing the power that people were getting out of violence against people.
Yeah.
Like, well, if they can do it, why can't I do it? And then why can't I turn it into using what I learned through growing up through religion? Why couldn't I use that as well?
It makes me wonder if there were other crimes that she committed that just weren't traced to her. Because typically what I've read a few different books where, whether it was a memoir or just about sociopathy in general, when fire setting is present, it's usually like something that happens pretty regularly for them. Because that high of, oh, I set a fire and all this happened, they usually can't shut that down. Or shoplifting. I've read a lot of times shoplifting is one of those things. They can't even tell you why they shoplifted the item. It's just they got the thrill out of it. So,
and there was a story that wasn't verified that was talked about in the book when she had owned the bar. And I don't remember the specifics, but some guy did to piss her off. And apparently she killed him. And the guys, her regular customers, walk in the next day and she's cleaning blood off the floor. But she was like, oh, hey, you guys here for a drink? Like very nonchalant, like very like, yeah, I might be cleaning blood off the floor. Like blood off the floor. Like who cares?
Right.
So there's definitely violence of some sort that was happening prior hand.
And it makes me wonder if there was always a tendency towards men.
I think she used her body to the advantage. I'm not.
I mean, if you got it, work it, girl.
Right?
I mean, that's interesting. I feel like you're right. Now that I'm thinking about it, you don't normally hear about, but also we're kind of coming into an age now where being a woman and being in a position of power, whether it's good power or bad power, is now more like socially acceptable and appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
I think when you're thinking about, she was a teenager in the 60s, so in the 70s, being a young adult, that was still not a thing.
Yeah.
We were emerging into that, but that didn't just happen overnight.
And I think there's a lot of murders that probably happened way. I'm talking like before 1900s that, oh, she couldn't have done that.
Yeah.
What do you mean? She wouldn't poison her husband.
I'm pretty sure that was far more common than
Yeah.
anybody wants to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wonder if the life expectancy hasn't gotten better or if women have just been like, you know what? Somebody threw us a bone for something, so now we don't have to do that.
Yeah.
It's crazy when you think about that. Maybe just being a woman, you think back. Like, if I was born in a different time, I'd have been hung like a witch.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Absolutely.
I'm into weird stuff. Like, there's just no way. I'm outspoken.
Yeah.
Somebody would have told me to do something. I've been like, nope. They're like,
No,
she's a
thanks.
witch. Find her third teeth. 100%.
But yeah, that's Credonia from Uganda.
That was really exciting, Hannah.
Thank you. I'm glad you liked it. It was
there
different.
Other cults in the book, or did he focus on just that?
No, there's like 6. So I tried to find one that I didn't know much about. Like, obviously, he has Manson in there.
Obviously.
He has Keith Raniere for Nexium.
Okay.
Which I went down a rabbit hole with him already. Jim Jones. And there was a couple other that I had never heard of. But then, of course, Credonia. So.
But she was the only woman in the book?
Yes. I believe she was, actually.
Interesting. I would really be interested in knowing, like, I mean, I'm sure there's no database for, like, who were the cult leaders of history, but I would be really interested to see, like, what that ratio actually is percentage-wise of the cults that we're aware of and how many of those leaders were female.
I think the Davidians were in there for Waco.
Right.
But yeah, I wanted to do one that maybe people just haven't really heard much about.
It kind of reminds me of that episode that I think it was Jess who did, where it was the nurse who was, like, putting the patients out of her misery.
It's the one from Northampton?
Yes.
From the Leeds?
The angel.
The angel of death? Was it?
Yeah, the angel of death.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It gives me those vibes. Like, there's something spooky about a woman in that kind of killing, stone cold persona.
Have you seen the documentary of Mother God?
No, I don't think so.
I am telling you, it changed my mind. Like, it just, the synapses, it did something, and I still think about it till this day. The images.
Cults are kind of supposed to do that, aren't they? It's interesting how even when you become fascinated with it, like after the fact, it still gets into your brain the way that they designed a cult to do.
Yeah.
To gain that following. You're thinking about it. It's taking over your thoughts. It's taking over almost like who you are. It's kind of creepy.
And I'm like, oh, I would never fall for that. And
here I am falling for it.
And here I am falling for it. But, and I also think about, my upbringing and some of the things that were just so ingrained in my mind since I was a little kid.
Falling for it.
And I had to rewire my brain. So, it's obviously on a lower scale, but like, I had to rewire my brain and think for myself.
I think a lot of things we don't consider as cults kind of are. A lot of things, especially with like social media being so big. I think about, obviously religions are an easy one to throw a stone at, but Disney is a huge one. Disney always comes to mind when people are talking about cults because I'm like, there's like these rules, the Disney cruise people. They've got like their own way of doing things.
Really?
And and now they've got, I don't know if it's like multi-level marketing of like people who sell cruise experiences. So you'll see the thing come up that's like, you'll see people post them. They say, I'm now the person who can help you set up your experience at Disney World. Let me know if you want me to help you coordinate your event. All of a sudden, those are popping up everywhere on social media. Everywhere. People that I was like, I didn't even know you liked Disney. And it looks so casual. That's what always strikes me about that one. It looks so casual. Like, oh, I'm just offering, if you're going to be coming to Disney, then I can help you plan. Almost like if we were at coffee and you said, oh, Rob and I are going to go to Disney. And I'm telling you, oh, I've been there. You should try this ride. You should try this park or this restaurant. It feels like that. But then before you realize it, you're like, oh, it's multi-level marketing. Now you're going to see it everywhere because I said that. You're going to be on Facebook and like 6 of them are going to pop up. It's like, I forget how they word it. Is it events?
See, this is why I stay home.
Or experiences?
This is why I don't go out there. I mean, I guess I'm part of like the Scream cult. Like I just looking over at my mask. Like I love all the Scream movies.
But I guess this is a good question to ask and pose. Is there a difference with liking something or loving something and following something because you like it and then following something because you believe it's a way of life?
Oh, well, no. Okay, well, but like all fall and Halloween, like it's, I don't know, a big part of me.
But it's not a way of life. There's no rules to Halloween.
No. Everyone experiences Halloween in their own way.
For me, what distinguishes a cult is the way that if it agrees with me, if it's for me, and I like it. I like decorating for Halloween most months out of the year. Nobody's telling me in order to get X, you must Y. Right. For me, that's where the culty piece comes in.
Because it brings you joy just to do it for yourself.
Jehovah's Witnesses. I don't know why. I'm not picking on them. No disrespect. They come to my mind. There are so many rules that I would be out even if I believed in it because I wouldn't be able to keep track of the rules. If you have to have a rule book to be in a club, then it's not a club. It's a cult. That's kind of how I think about it. Maybe the Wanderers can tell me if I'm right or wrong, but that's how I think about it. Yeah,
guys, please. Like, I mean, Courtney has been doing an amazing job with all of our social media stuff, so please interact, even if it has nothing to do with the post. And you see like our 100th episode post and you're like, hey, can you do this episode? Or something that's nothing to do with it. I like Bigfoot too. Something, please. And also, I do want to do a shout out to Jake. I know we had talked about him earlier. But he did respond when we were talking about wondering if Mark was yelling at me for all the trivia questions I was getting wrong. Jake did text and say that, yes, he was. So
are they listening while they're at work? Is that what's happening? So like Wednesday, we launch it.
Yes. Actually, please keep going, actually.
Wednesday, we launch it and they listen together, or do you think they're listening separately? Someone let me know because I'm a very visual person. I know that I've never met you, Jake. I've definitely met Mark in the virtual flesh. I like to picture how things look. So I need to know, are you guys like twinning it where like one of you is holding one earbud and the other one's holding the other? Or is it playing? Bromance. Are we playing through a boom box? I kind of like that idea. Are we playing through like a truck stereo? Because I also don't hate that idea. Are you guys listening sidebar and comparing notes? I really have to know. I'm really curious about all of this.
No, I love that so much. And actually, Mark said, well, what happened to the episode this past week? And I was like, well, it did come out on Wednesday, but our producer, a.k.a. your cousin,
Roberto,
he failed to put it up until that night. So sometimes that happens. We understand life. We still have jobs, people.
Rob's very busy.
Rob is very busy.
I feel like I've been saying that since we started doing this together. It was the Big E. Now it's work. Rob just likes to work, guys.
Dude,
which is funny because we don't really like to do that function. We both like to sit here. This feels like enjoyable work, but we don't like to work. And definitely not outside.
No, God, no. In this 100-degree heat.
I also feel like I'm going to lose major points because I was one of those people, and I'm going to admit this on the air so Rob can feel free to harass me with it forever. I was one of those people who's like, oh my God, why is everybody obsessed with the Big E? The Big E isn't even that great. And I've been sitting here going, oh my gosh, when is the Big E going to go?
I love the Big E. So wait, what changed your mind?
I think I used to look at the Big E as a nuisance because I worked in West Springfield.
Oh, yeah.
For 2 different jobs at 2 different times, and it was so inconvenient trying to drive in that it's like Brimfield. I love Brimfield Flea Market. I love going when we went, when I go with Pizza Man, when I go with anybody, I love it. I can't stand it when I'm trying to get someplace. Mm-hmm. So now that I've been going, I'm actually considering getting a season's pass this year for the first time ever.
We already got ours like a month ago.
It's just fun to go.
It is fun to go.
It's fun to go. It's fun when you have people to meet up with, but I also think that it gives me fall vibes. Like, that's how I know fall is coming.
Fall is here.
It's like in Gilmore Girls when she's like, I smell snow. That's how the
Yes.
Big E feels about fall for me.
Yes, like when we smell all the fried food and the popcorn, and we're like, fall's almost here. And even though it's hot during the day, it gets cool at night, so you want to bring a sweatshirt just
Or a
in
flannel.
case. Or a
I
flannel.
just remember all of the pumpkin flavored ciders and beers with the
rims.
rim. Oh, not the rim.
And you get all sticky and
I'm going to
God.
add a countdown to Big E.
I mean, I think we should. I think that's a great idea.
I think we should.
Also, I want to mention that that's a really good point about like having to like drive through there, because I think about Bright Nights. And if anyone in New England really knows, like Bright Nights is like the biggest light extravaganza
Same
that they
problem
do
for
during
me.
Christmas time. And I lived across the street from the entrance for a while. I hated Bright Nights. I hated it with a passion. But now I'm like, oh, I love it again because I don't have to live near it.
Right. I think everything is good in small doses that way
Yeah.
too. I think, and once you understand, like Brimfield when we went,
Yeah.
I understood this is the time we go in, this is where we're going to park, this is when we're going to leave. The Big E is very much like that
Yeah.
too. Once you understand the ins and outs, like you park here, you just run in, you do this and that, and then you leave by this time.
I mean, honestly, like getting older, I say older, I'm 35, but like getting
feels
older
old right now.
I'd rather go to the Big E when it opens, right? Have my first beer at 10:30 and then be out by 3. And then all the other kiddos can come. Like, I like that idea. Like, it's less crowded.
I'm going to agree to disagree. Sometimes I like that. But there's also something about at least being there a few times when it's like getting dark and you can see all the lights.
Oh, yes.
There's
But I'm
something
talking
about
like
that.
the third or fourth time.
Yeah, the first time you have to go at night.
Have to.
The first time you have to go at night. It's mandatory. And you have to go with other people.
Oh, absolutely.
Not that I think anybody should go to the Big E by themselves. Like total solo, I would not recommend. Unless you really enjoy doing that. But send your location to one of us if you're going to do that. Because it doesn't feel
Please.
safe to go by yourself. I don't even go to the bathroom when I'm there by myself.
Sorry if you hear Kenzie in the background. She's protecting.
She's been very
Castle.
upset. She normally sits right in my lap the whole time that we record. And I think,
maybe the next episode we do, we need to give you like a blankie. And see
I
what
think if I don't
happens.
have a blanket, she doesn't get in my
Yeah.
lap.
Well, this has been a great episode.
This
Because I
was
feel like there's
great.
a lot of stuff we could talk about afterwards. So
Yeah, no, cults are one of those things that you could go down the rabbit hole forever.
Mm-hmm.
And I think maybe we should do other cults.
I'm down.
I think we should explore other
Let's do
cults.
it. But
Right
if
in.
there's
Let
a
us know.
specific one, yes, please tell me. Otherwise, I'm just gonna pick a random one. That's less fun.
That is, I mean, plus I want to make sure, like, I feel like I'm like tapping the mic, like, is this thing on when I'm talking to social media? It's getting better, but you know,
Boss
sharing
me
is caring.
around. Tell me what you want to hear.
And vote
I
on our
like
polls.
it. Certain times I like being bossed around.
I was just
One
gonna
of those
say, she does
times.
not always like to be bossed around.
There are times. You don't need to know the other times, but this is one of those times.
Wicked Wanderings After Dark. On that note, thank you, Hannah. That was a really great episode.
Thank you, Courtney. Bye, Wanderers.
Bye, Wanderers. Till next time.
Thanks for listening today. Wicked Wanderings is hosted by me, Hannah.
And co-hosted by me, Courtney.
And it's produced by Rob Fitzpatrick.
Music by Sasha N.
If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to leave a rating and review, and be sure to follow on all socials. You can find the links down in the show notes. If you're looking for some really cozy t-shirts or hoodies, head over to the merch store. Thank you for being a part of the Wicked Wanderings community. We appreciate every one of you. Stay curious, keep exploring,
And always remember to keep on wandering.
A Studio 113 production.